good day, all of you good people out there following us in Nigeria and in the diaspora. You're welcome to another edition of Money Radio. Today we are discussing insecurity, and of course, today is Thursday, so we're discussing tourism, and it's how insecurity and infrastructure are affecting the industry. Um, First of all, I apologize for a technical problem we faced. We were on earlier. That was due to technical problem. We apologize for that break. In the studio with me, we have Mr. Kayode Falade on my right, Mr. Jeremy Emerson on my left, and we are going to have another guest whose name is Frank Mickey. I'm your host, Case Hammond. So, let's start with you, Mr. Falade. We are talking about how insecurity and infrastructure are affecting the industry. What's your take?
Well, thank you. First of all, insecurity. Yes, what is insecurity? There are many ways of looking at it, but here now we are looking at insecurity as when the citizens or residents of a particular place are not feeling safe. They are not safe for a number of reasons. Um, they just don't feel safe. The life, property, safe. So, and this has been uh, in Nigeria for a long time. You know, and let's just say for the last decade now, Nigeria has been fraught with insecurity challenges. You know, first we have the Boko Haram and their ISWAP counterparts. We have the bandits. We have the unknown gunmen. Then the traditional, or let me say traditional, the ones we've known before, armed robbers, carjackers, all of them. But for the last 10 years now or more, it's a little bit over over a decade now, the challenges are getting more and more monstrous and monstrous.
Yes, criminals seem to be more daring now.
Yeah, and tourism doesn't thrive in a situation like that.
True.
No, it's not tourism in almost everything. And then just recently, we also have the insecurity, the health one, the challenges, the COVID-19.
Yeah,
It's also a sort of insecurity.
yeah.
So, and all these are combined together to deal the Nigerian tourism sector, not even Nigerian tourism sector alone, all over the world, but zooming over into Nigeria. This last decade, as a tourism sector has been dealt a very
Heavy blow.
heavy blow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's understandable. The country is not linked. Not all states are linked by air transportation. So to get to one, especially, in fact, almost all of our tourism destinations, with the exception of places like maybe Ubudu,
To
everywhere is linked by road,
By
not
road.
by.
Not even by real. Just a few states are linked by
by
rail.
rail.
Yeah.
So everything centers on road transportation. And these are where kidnappers lock in the corner, armed robbers are somewhere waiting to prey on their people, on their victims. Then the one at the lower rung of the ladder, pickpockets.
Those ones, we have had to learn to live with them.
Okay.
Yeah, somehow. Mr. Faraday has been talking about insecurity. Let's talk also about infrastructure. What infrastructure needs to be put in place to get Nigeria's tourism sector viable?
Yes, infrastructure is very key, you know, in the tourism industry because I mean tourists look out for very basic things like electricity, um, water, communication, road.
Good.
Yes,
Very good.
and in the absence of all this, one will have to think twice. Have a second thought before embarking on a trip, a tourism trip. So infrastructure is very, very central for tourism to thrive and develop.
Yeah. And to cut in, when you go to some of these tourist sites, most of what Jerry pointed out now are absent.
Of course, yeah.
Absent. What do you mean absent? Don't we have roads in those places?
We have roads, if you can call those, if you can call them
But
roads.
they are in bad shape. They are in bad shape.
Very terrible shape.
Let's
And
let's have some examples.
okay, like some time ago in 2000, I always like to give an example. Some time ago in 2016, when I went to Obudu, Obudu Ranch.
Yeah, I see on your WhatsApp status. Okay, that's the
Yeah.
you're on a Trump read there.
Oh, that's a different one. But
Okay.
talking about the Obudu, the road wasn't that smooth.
Ubudu of all
Yes.
places.
Yes, like no, on our way there, getting there,
Okay.
we went through Makodi, went through, basically the road wasn't that smooth. So we spent a little more longer,
And that is one of Nigeria's major tourism destinations.
Yes.
So-
Even from Calabar, sorry to cut you, even from Calabar to Obudu, there was an occasion where I was on the entourage of the then governor of the state. We, with the convoy, with the whatever, before we got to, we spent about 6 hours on the road
6 hours
from
in one state.
from Abuja,
from Calabar.
from Calabar.
About
It's
normally
And
how
within the state, and you know, Obudu is in that
normally how far is that?
the road.
No, but if let's assume the roads were good. How long
Well,
do you
well,
think that is?
maybe 3 4 hours. It's
Maybe
not, yeah, it's far. It's far from Calabar.
It's
quite,
a bit
yeah.
of distance
Yeah, from the state capital. So that's why, like you are, the infrastructure is very key. The places like Obudu should be accessed by air.
Yes.
In fact,
It's
there's
easier.
supposed to be a helipad,
Yes.
for those who can afford to fly, all through to
Or,
their destination.
or a very small airport, even if we don't
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
yeah, there should be something like that where we have chartered flights, all these small aircraft.
How big is the
Always-
ranch?
Oh, the ranch is big.
It's
It's
big.
big.
It has facilities, lodging facilities. It has a place you can have a conference center.
Yeah.
It has
There's this cable.
yes, it has a cable ride.
But is Obudu unique in these deficiencies? I'm talking about roads, getting the access roads.
The thing
They
is
said
that
unique in
you're
this.
going up the hill.
Yeah.
You understand? Once you get to the village or so,
Yeah.
it's for you to now go up the hill. So, but that road up the hill is okay.
It's okay.
It's in order.
It's getting to Obudu, that
It's
town.
getting to
That is.
um,
And like other places we have been to, road especially, it's very very key, and most of these roads are in very bad shape.
What do you think? Is it because maybe succeeding governors did not buy that idea of, if my memory serves me right, that Ubuntu project was carried out by Donald Duke.
Donald Duke. It was
Yes,
started by Donald Duke.
of course. But what do you think? Was that project, or that idea not bought by succeeding governors?
Well, without singling
I mean,
out,
by leaving that road, that
without
is
singling, I don't
decrepit-
want us to single out.
Yes,
Okay,
I
let's
don't
not
know.
single out
yes,
Obudu.
So-
Yeah, but let's use Obudu as a case study.
Okay, one thing I've noticed is that most of these places are not in the capital cities.
Yes, that's true.
So,
That's true.
and this how we put all our emphasis, all our efforts developing
The capital.
the capital.
Yeah.
So most of all these places are abandoned. Not that the tourism sites are actually singled out to be abandoned, but because they are almost all of them are located in rural areas. So and rural roads fall
Are
under,
not-
they are not,
Yeah.
they fall, most of them fall under the purview of the local governments, and the local government administration will say, oh, there's no fund to do this, no fund to do that. So most of these roads, I mean the roads that lead to all these places are ancient. Those ones that most of them were even built by the colonial masters. You'll be surprised. So they are fall into dilapidation, and that's what the states most of them are now. So you
I
will be
get the point
going,
you're making here. When you talk about infrastructure, you talk about those places being away from the
the
capital.
capital.
That means infrastructure must not only be roads, but
No.
it should also include hospitals.
Hospitals, yes.
Because when people go to enjoy those facilities, they anybody can fall sick. There can be accidents. Those
You're
places
right.
have to be.
You're right. Let me quickly cite the two Ole or waterfalls, and then Ikogusi, one water spring. Let me just use those
Okay.
two places. Now, getting to those places, especially the Ole waterfall, very beautiful place. Very beautiful. But how do you assess the place? Before you get to the place, your car is almost a wreck. Then when you get to the place, apart from the waterfall, all the facilities there, the booths, the huts, the places people can lodge, all of them are in please
In bad shape.
very bad shape. No, not very unkept, very bad shape. Some of them are falling down, and people just, but when is it when you want to spend days there? These facilities have been built, they have been there. Where you are supposed to, if you want to spend days, you can spend days. But how do you spend days there when electricity is absent? Will you bring your own generator? Then even the apartments, the booths, the rooms, the chalets, in what state are they? You can't.
I for one have been one of those persons pushing forward for the private sector to take charge of these
Well,
developments. But the point you're making implies that government has to play a role, because we talk about hospitals and roads. We
most
can't
of them don't even
Those
have.
are
They don't.
exclusive. Those are exclusive to government, like the roads.
the roads they are exclusive to.
Oh, but when we are talking about hospitals, health centers, even if they are not located in the vicinity, you
Yeah,
know, if they are not located right on the location,
yeah.
they should be in the vicinity.
Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk about these issues. Listeners, please stay with us. We'll take a short break. We'll be back very soon.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
You're welcome back, and thanks very much for staying with us. Still with me in the studio, Mr. Kayode Falade and Jerry Emerson. I remain your host, Case Hammond. I would like to apologize to you. We should have had an external guest, but for some technical reason, we haven't been able to link up with him yet. So, if he comes, fine. If not, we have people to analyze the issue. So, we were talking about government playing a role. It shouldn't be left to the private sector. Look, this issue of tourism, oil has actually distracted government's attention from many of Nigeria's potential of making money. There are many countries out there that depend on tourism
Solely.
to run their economy.
Yeah.
The example is Kenya.
Kenya,
Yeah. Another example is Morocco.
yes.
Gambia.
Gambia.
And I tell you,
Yeah.
those physical features, those geographical and features, and the flora and fauna of those countries like Kenya, Nigeria has those features.
We have
Is it the desert-like place where the lions are? We have elephants in.
our reserves.
Yankari-
Yankari is there. Odoyo,
So why is government neglecting this sector?
Bogu National Park.
Yes.
We have about 3 or 4 national parks.
If we talk about how much tourism has contributed to Nigeria's GDP compared to other countries, you find out that in 2016, what tourism contributed to Nigeria's GDP was about 5.1%. If you look at Ghana,
As neglected as
As it was.
it
Then
was.
you know, if you look at Ghana, Ghana stood at 10.15% contribution to GDP. If you look at Tanzania, 10.7%.
So the question that beckons is, what does Ghana have that Nigeria does not have?
That brings us to what we are talking today: insecurity and infrastructure.
you want to go to Bogu National Park, that is now the haven of bandits. You want to go there?
I had plans to go to Yankari Game Reserve.
Yeah.
You know,
That's in Bauchi. Yes.
but the fear of these people on the road, I jettisoned the plan.
So what's the pronunciation of that state? They say Bauchi or Bauchi?
Bauchi, no,
It's Bauchi.
Bauchi. All right. You know, many, probably because many
No.
people argue about it.
None of us are native speakers.
So, Mr. Kayode, what's the way forward?
Root out the bandits, root out Boko Haram or ISWAP, whatever they call themselves, root out the kidnappers, all the
funny
criminals
enough-
that had invested our highways. They should go.
Funny enough, or interestingly, if these attractions, these tourism attractions, were actually up and running, there wouldn't be need for these people to surface. The bandits, the Boko Haram.
Yes, they would have been
jobs.
discovered much earlier on. Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to make those places they are having. Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, if there had been a high,
And they would have
traffic-
made a living from those places.
But again, we
Yes.
have heard that some of these bandits are not Nigerians. That they are foreigners, coming into the country to since it's more like a business now.
You see,
It's happening almost everywhere.
yes, but then what Kais is trying to say is that if this had been in place, tourism takes a lot of the unemployment market.
Yeah.
And one of the
Yeah.
reasons
Yeah.
for the insecurity is unemployment.
Yes.
The devil, they say, how employed idle hands. So if like initially these people, the local community, if there is no how do I put it? If they don't have the support from the local community, they cannot thrive.
They cannot.
They
They cannot. That's the point.
See, they can't thrive.
They cannot.
So if this had been in place before, the youth there have been gainfully employed, maybe serving as guides in those reserves, doing this, doing
Yes.
that. People that will come and entice them with some things, or if you are busy, if you are gainfully employed, no, it's going to be difficult for anybody to come and entice you to come to crime, you know. So, but then,
And there is more dignity. Every human wants to feel dignified. Everyone wants to have that feeling of dignity that I can earn a living from what I do. People, I can assure you, would not choose to be bandits or to be criminals if they had, let's say, most people.
okay,
A few people may be inclined to maybe
you
just be
just be
criminals.
bent,
Yes,
you have that
but
bent.
it's hunger and other forms of deprivation that moves people to go into those kind of criminal activities. And if those things were in place, those things that will give them a living, those things that will give them that sense of dignity, I can earn a living, I can work and live. By, like you said, their craftsmanship,
Okay.
even being tour guides. But
Yes.
there are many. Look, go to these places and you see that they have their local crafts.
Of course, yes.
People would
Something
like
you
to,
can buy as a
as a
Of
souvenir.
souvenir, and people would like to.
Take
Yes.
it to
That would have become an industry.
And I think we should also de-emphasize this concentration on urban places.
Yes,
We should develop the rural areas.
the rural area.
Go
And what does
to
it be required to develop those rural areas? Just roads.
Roads.
Build roads there, and people will go and
give
live
them
in those places.
electricity.
That's all.
Make the place enticing.
I think we should really, really um, get on the government to begin to, because it boils down, government has to take the lead.
Yes.
That's the fact.
Government
Yes.
has to
I
take
agree.
the lead, and the earlier we de-emphasize the focus on oil, as our major foreign earnings, the better for us.
Look, what we are saying here is not new.
It's not new.
It's not new.
We've discussed this
We've been,
couple of
many
times.
people have discussed these things, but like you are saying, probably we are not getting on the back of government yet. We need to get on their back. We need to prompt them to taking action.
I agree with
Very
you.
true.
It's not really, it's not a lost cause. Actually, it's not a lost cause. We just need some people up there that will be convinced that, look, this is another big revenue generator for us, and that is a source of huge revenue.
Yeah.
So if they can be convinced, what it takes, or what it will take to put things in proper perspective in this area, I mean the tourism sector, it's not much.
Look, my wife, a few years ago, her class during a project that uh, they had to take a trip, an excursion to Abeokuta,
Okay, the Olumoro.
Olumoro. My wife came telling me about that place as if she had gone to Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
She enjoyed the place so
Yeah.
much. There are many places
There
people
are
like to
lots
visit
of places
in
in
this,
Nigeria. We don't
this
have to
country.
go out. Have we visited? Have we exploited? Have we explored our own tourism sites here enough? No, we don't have to go to this thing. Like, we don't have to go to Robben Island in South Africa, where they will just show you the bed of the bed. One bed that they said that was what Mandela slept in for 29 years. So, and you see people flocking going there. We have a lot of things to sell here.
Every state,
No,
every
state in Nigeria
has something
Every state.
you can enjoy.
Every state.
Yes.
Go to
Visit
Glasgow.
and have fun.
Yes.
So we're going to have 1 minute each to pass a message to the federal government. Mr. Emerson, please go ahead. Just
Okay,
use a minute. Pass a message to government.
The topic we've been on today is on the infrastructure and security. And I think government needs to take it a lot more serious than just paying lip service to the tourism industry. the government needs to wake up, the government needs to put infrastructure in place, and as well as insecurity, so that Nigerians can enjoy themselves. Because if you travel to some of these places, you'll be relaxed. You can go on vacation and relax with your family and rejuvenate and get yourself, even get to know many of these places. So there's need for government to take tourism very serious.
Thank you. Mr.
Yes, I think the first thing is we have to look at tourism as a as an entity on its own. I don't think the tourism sector should be merged with another to form a ministry. If we have a ministry of tourism solely on its own, I think there will be changes. And then the tourism sector, I mean, the ministry should be headed by somebody who is vast in tourism. It is not a place, it is not an appendage ministry where we just put somebody there and say, okay, what are they doing there? And therefore, no, it shouldn't be for political patronage. No, it's where an expert, somebody who knows his onions or their onions, because the person could be a woman, should man. This will now flow down to the states. The same thing in the states. Ministry of Tourism Development, Ministry of, except some few states, they've just put one essay there, just to, like he said, political patronage. Somebody they don't know where to fix it. You go to tourism, they are just go there. It's much more than that.
Lastly, let me ask you a question. Are these reserves owned by the federal government or state governments?
Most reserves are owned by the federal. I think they are owned by the federal government.
It's on the exclusive list.
Okay. So that's good. So owned by the federal government.
So let's hope the federal government is listening, and to state governments also. You have potential. I wouldn't like to delve into politics where we are having the issue of VAT that is reverberating all around the place. That may be a spark to fiscal federalism. But look at those areas, state governors. Begin to look at those areas where you can have
Generate
your own
revenue.
revenue.
Engage private operators.
Yes.
Entice them to come on board, and man some of these places.
Yes. So state governors feel challenged. I gave it to Donald Duke. Donald Duke really, what's the word? He boldly,
he blazed the trail.
yeah. It was a deliberate effort he made to attract tourism.
Like the
And
Calabar.
Look at Calabar Carnival today.
You see that.
And that is about the only thing in Nigeria
And
now.
I
Exactly.
like it that
Successfively,
present governor
all of them.
is
Imoke
sustaining.
And that is a
continues.
revenue earner.
yes, of
Yeah,
course.
There's a revenue.
Imoke continue, and this one too is about there is also going and
Very good.
continuing with it.
So that is a challenge to state governors. Do something. Do something. Don't come to federal to Abuja every month.
Every month, cap in hand.
Do something about your state, and you'll make money from tourism. That's how we ended up today. Thanks for being with us, all of you following us in Nigeria and in the diaspora. Thanks, Mr. Falade, for
My pleasure.
contribution. Thanks, Mr. Emerson. And to our producers also, we say thanks very much. We'll be here discussing tourism next Thursday. But until then, every day, every weekday, Money Radio is, we are here to serve you. So we say continue to be with us. Have a nice day.